and gentlemen.
Howdy do.
Welcome to the Neon Bear Trap.
Episode 3 of the PALcast.
Yes, episode 3 of the PALcast. Unfortunately, it's just two pals tonight.
Oh, man. Sans Ethan.
Yes, Ethan is away at the moment, but he will be returning next week, I am sure.
Off gathering the Triforce, I believe.
Yes, exactly, something like that. This week we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. I felt the last couple of weeks we were like, this is what is wrong with current gaming, but that's not making us what we love about gaming.
There's enough negativity in the
Exactly.
gaming world.
Exactly. So, going to try and just delve into our subconscious, not too deep. I don't want to scar you all. And look at some of the games and the game companies and whatnot that made us the gamers that we are today. Even just games that we enjoy. What we're doing now with gaming specifically. Because I feel like we've talked a lot and you guys have a good idea of our opinions of a lot of things, but you don't know us as people and gamers. So we're going to try and fill you in with that a little bit tonight.
You're going to learn to know all about us, and we're going to learn all about you, and we're going to get in nice and snug and
have a cuddle. It's nice and toasty in here already. The aircon's been off for like 15 seconds and I'm already sweaty. I'm actually taking my shirt off as we speak.
And you know what? It's not just the two husky gentlemen in the room that's making it pretty warm. It's whoever decides to listen to this.
Exactly.
All three of you.
Yeah.
We feel your love.
Not just us re-listening to this. Whoever's out there listening to this, and it made me feel warm inside. So warm that I get sweaty and have to take my shirt off.
We have enough fun that we made it episode 3.
Yes,
we started
exactly.
from the bottom, now we're here.
Exactly.
The whole team here.
The whole team's fucking here, man.
Episode 3.
Thank you, Drake, for your infinite wisdom.
Of the No One Watches the PALcast.
Yeah, so I guess kind of just updating what we've been up to this week in games and what we've digested from gaming content.
What have you been up to this week, man?
Not a great deal. Okay, that's not true. I've been doing a lot of a few things. I've been playing a lot of Heroes of the Storm, specifically today, as on the recording day of this, there was a new hero announced. Good old Ana from Overwatch.
Sleepy Grandma.
Sleepy Grandma, indeed. Now, if you do not play Heroes of the Storm, it is MOBA, not dissimilar to League of Legends or Defense of the Ancients. However, the cast and heroes, as they are called, is a collection of all the different, I guess, protagonists and antagonists of all the Blizzard universes. So you've got your main ones of Diablo, Warcraft, Starcraft, and now recently Overwatch.
Don't forget Vikings.
Well, they're in the classic Blizzard games.
Right.
So we're hoping that we get a rock and roll racing character soon.
Finally.
Yeah.
Because when they put out Vikings, I feel like it was Blizzard's way of saying, like, no, we made other stuff too.
Yes, I swear it's just not Warcraft and Starcraft. So it's really cool. I've adored it since I played it in the technical alpha. I've been playing it for 2.5, nearly 3 years now. Almost daily. I adore the game itself, but specifically Ana, she is a support. However, most people do not agree that she will be able to solo support. She has no ability to heal herself, besides a 16-second cooldown grenade. However, that grenade also increases all the healing that other friendlies hit with it take. So if you've got a second healer, it will allow you to work in tandem and keep your teammates alive to kill all the baddies. Her kit, otherwise, is pretty similar to her Overwatch kit, but if you haven't played it, she has a sleep dart, which is a straight line, kind of pseudo-delayed, pretty thin projectile. You hit that into hero, and they're slept. It's a new CC form in Heroes of the Storm, and they are unable to move for 2 seconds. However, if they receive damage in those 2 seconds, the sleep is broken and they are able to move. I've actually had some really interesting interactions with that today where, for example, a hero will flip them over or move them or do damage to them. The sleep dart has hit them just after that's happened. So they've been flipped and moved and then slept at the same time. So I think with great practice, someone will be able to get really, really good at that hero. She also has a healing dart. So her sniper rifle, which is the fantasy of her character, she's a sniper from Overwatch. And she can heal or do poison to people through her sniper rifle. She shoots darts and I guess bad darts for enemies. However,
where did the bad darts touch you? Point on this doll where the that's sleepy grandma and the bad darts.
Oh god, that sounds like a really, really, really obscure hipster band from Australia.
It kind of does.
Instead, in Overwatch, traditionally, her auto attacks, if you shoot someone on your team, you'll heal them. If you shoot a person, it'll put a small damage, but still a damage over time effect on them. However, in this, her healing ability is a straight skill shot with a 2-second cooldown. Your friendly teammates can block it from the people that you're trying to heal, and also
That's
dodge.
nice of them.
Yeah, and also dodge you when you heal them. They juke out of the way at the last
Not
second.
dissimilar from Overwatch.
Not
then.
dissimilar from Overwatch. Her ultimate, in Heroes of the Storm, you get a choice of 2 ultimates when you reach level 10, and in Heroes of the Storm, one of them is the one from Overwatch. It's the Nano Boost. It works kind of different in the vein that it doesn't make you attack quicker. It makes your spells come off cooldown quicker, make them do more damage, and then it gives their castee 200 mana. So it's good if you're like in a position where you want to continue pushing, and say your Li Ming, your mage or whatever, is out of mana. You go, no, here's half your mana back, and you do a lot more damage.
Yeah, that's the
Let's
instant
fucking go.
impression I get. You take that if you're in a position to kind of snowball a little bit. And,
Yes,
and you're
exactly.
getting a bit of a lead going into 10.
Yes, exactly. Her other alternate ultimate, which I've personally been enjoying quite a lot, is called Eye of Horus. Basically, she gets on knee into the sniper position and can shoot from across the map healing darts or damage darts. And this can be used in great ways. If you've just spawned and there's an objective that you need to help your team with across the map, you can interrupt the channeling of the objective and even heal your teammates if they're across the map and they've gotten themselves into a fight that they can win, but they need a bit more support. You can just get a few heals, pick off a few people that are running away. It's a really fun ult.
Right.
And that's about the crux of her. I've been really enjoying her. I don't play supports very often in Heroes of the Storm, but I feel it's one with enough technical familiarity to a lot of the assassins that I've played that I can fall back into it and find the enjoyment. I'm not just like a heal bot, like an area effect, or I click my heal on cooldown. There's an element of skill to it, and I feel that has been really fun.
Having watched a few games of Anna today on release, I get the impression that she's not really a game-changing healer per se, but has massive utility.
Yes.
So isn't going to turn a game on the back of huge heals.
No, not.
But is a really solid team player.
Definitely, like
can spread heals across the map pretty quickly.
Yep.
Is good for chase and escape purposes.
She's just an all-round good healer.
That full map ult.
Yeah.
And being able to interrupt channeling the objectives, I think, is quite huge.
Yes.
I think that's very, very useful. Whether that justifies taking her over other healers, maybe not. But
probably not.
But I think it's really, really fun to play with, because I think in any game, especially if we're playing Curse Hollow,
yes,
and we're channeling relics, to be able to buy your team an extra 15 seconds to get there to fight on a relic is immense in that game type.
Exactly. It really, or for example, they're turning in Blackheart's Bay, turning in the coins to get Blackheart to shoot his cannons at your structures or their structures. You can just stop them doing that for 10 seconds.
Doubloons. Distraction on damage race.
Yeah, exactly. Anything like that. Just exactly. Yeah, on Battlefield of Eternity, if you're racing on the Immortal and you need that 5 or 10 more seconds, Anna doesn't do much damage herself, but if she can make the enemy team move and damage a little bit less efficiently, I'm sure that will help in certain positions. I think she will see play in a competitive sense, maybe.
Perhaps a mix-up pick.
It will be definitely a last pick second support. She won't be drafted high in the draft simply because if you see an early Ana, you just draft a dive comp, and even though she's got the sleep dart and can stop your healing through her bionic grenade, she only can heal herself once every 12 seconds.
Yep.
So you just dive on her with a Hunt, a Tyrael Judgment, a Genji Dragon Blade, and she, unless plays it perfectly, will struggle to see any sort of competitive play. That being said, the Heroes of the Storm professional scene is in a meta where double support is highly favoured. Generally, you go a standard frontline main tank, a bruiser, a support, a utility or second support, and then one assassin who can do enough damage to compensate for the whole team, per se. And I think she will definitely see play in those sort of comps, especially with the rising of Lucio to counter Malthael's dive. His sound barrier stops his... you know how he does that big circular shadow ult and it puts the poison dot on everyone around him?
Yes, yeah.
Shield stop that. So you drop the beat as he does that, it's effectively nullified.
Okay.
Or example, Brightwing has recently seen changes and will definitely be coming back into the meta. Being able to throw a bionic grenade onto a group of people just as she's about to do a tick will double that, triple it.
Oh, wow.
Make people full heal. I think she's pretty sleeper OP, and I can't wait to see some high-level professionals play her.
If you can get a strong frontline, a strong primary tank, and a strong primary healer, I think she becomes very, very useful. Because then you've got that frontline, right?
Exactly, and you've also got, like, if you do the sleep dart quest at level 1, if you hit 20 people with the sleep darts, after 10 it increases the range of your sleep dart and make it pierce through one target, so you can sleep 2 people if they're bunched up. But once you get 20, it increases the range of your healing dart and allows that to pierce 2 people. So you don't have to worry about your positioning so much. You can just sit back quite far, even with Eye of Horus, and just like sleep dart, healing dart. Oh, people are dying. I need to get back a bit further. And Eye of Horus. It's really fun playing a healer that doesn't have to be right in the thick of it.
Yeah, and I got excited when you were showing me a bit of on a gameplay. The prospect of perhaps a lot more roaming and sort of healing or keeping up like a couple lanes at once.
Yes, that is possible with a grenade build because her biotic grenade's got a decent range, but you can take a talent where you kind of just lob it in the air and it comes down like an airstrike 5 seconds later.
Oh, really?
And that can be done from half a lane. So you can rotate through half a lane, lob that, say, hey, a heal's coming in 5 seconds. They stand in it, boom, they can get a lot more healing from it. What else has been happening in Heroes of the Storm? We've got an announcement of Volskaya Industries, or Attack on Volskaya Industries, which is an Overwatch-esque event. They've tried to do that before previously with Hanamura and the release of Heroes of the Storm 2.0. But Hanamura was not well received by the community at all. It was a very averagely designed map. It was a case of a payload-esque map from Overwatch, but you escort the payloads to these points to take shots at the enemy's core. So in essence, you needed to get 7 shots or 7 payloads escorted to win the game. The core has 7 health. However, people quickly realized that taking one of the enemy structures adds another shot onto your next payload. And also, when you take both the structures in each of the lanes, the catapult minions that structure, or the super minions, when they get to the enemy core, they also do a point of damage. So what people were doing was literally just getting 5 specialists, running down a lane, taking both the structures, getting a massive level lead.
And that's no fun.
And that's no fun. It was not fun to play. It was considering Heroes of the Storm 2.0 was supposed to be a cross-promotional draw from other people, especially the Overwatch community, to get more people into Heroes of the Storm. It was a map that was, in essence, completely different from the core mechanics that need to be learnt about Heroes of the Storm. So they've removed that completely from the game and they're reworking it. Which,
that being said, you've got to make mistakes to
exactly
introduce new stuff into that sort of setting?
Yes. But back to what I was saying about the Assault on Volskaya Industries. It's a new map where it's capture the point-esque Overwatch. So you know where you hold the points and it goes like up to 99%.
Right.
And I'm not explaining this very well, but if you get the 100% on it, you get a pilotable mech.
Would you say it's like domination-esque?
Domination-esque, yes. So it's capturing like King of the Hill-esque sort of point.
Mm-hmm.
And if your team gets 100% on that point, a mech spawns for you. However, this is different to other pilotable map objectives in Heroes of the Storm. It's a mech that two people can jump in. One person's the pilot, one person's the gunner. And it is so much fun. Right. It is really, really cool. And also,
I feel I needed to explain.
Yes.
The smile that just washed over my face.
Like it was a childlike.
This isn't a video gig.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't help it. I started smiling because that sounds like so much fun, and the worst time ever at the same time.
Yes.
Depending on who your mech buddy is.
Yes, exactly. I was actually watching a streamer, Dunk Train. He's an ex-world champion support of Cloud9. And he's just a streamer now, very successfully at that. And someone in his chat was saying, "Oh, I don't really like the mech. I think it's a silly idea." And he just replies with, "I think you're wrong. Getting into a giant mech with my best friend sounds like the best idea in the world."
Right, that's like, immediately where my head went.
Exactly. And you've got two different sets of abilities and stuff like that. So there's 6 abilities that it can do, or you can change it up. If someone's low on your team, you can hop out of one of the seats and then they can jump into it. You can have one person piloting in it and then they'd switch to the gunner seat and stuff like that. It's really, really cool. Like,
who do you think you are, guy on Dunk Train stream?
Yeah, exactly.
Who are you to immediately poo-poo new ideas coming into the game you play?
Exactly. Like, I get people don't like change, but
I know you're out there, you're listening.
Yeah, exactly. I know who you are. Person's name who I can't remember. Another fun mechanic of this map is conveyor belts. So around the objectives and throughout part of the lanes, there's just conveyor belts that make you move at 100% movement speed, and things like Abathur mines can be put on that.
Oh,
things
that sounds fun.
Like whatever, like the turret camps from that map, you can put that on there. So you've got this turret going around there, Gazlo turrets, Probius warp fields, Probius turrets.
I can see all of these things making you furious at some point.
Oh yeah, I try to avoid them because there's nothing more irritating than trying to go to help your team and you're running against the grain on the conveyor belt and just not moving anywhere.
I guess it stands to explain that we kind of are approaching this game from different viewpoints, right? Like I'm happy to admit I am a filthy HOTS casual.
Yes.
I play the game to have fun with my friends, and it's like I want to have fun, and if I'm not having fun, I won't play.
Yes. Whereas
you're far more serious.
I'm a lot more serious about it. Like, I'm trying to find more enjoyment just out of playing, and that...
Not that you don't enjoy playing it, obviously.
No, I adore playing it.
But there are times when you're not having fun, you'll still play in a way, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like, fuck it, call it an addiction, sure, be it what it is. It's more... Not that I don't enjoy the game if I don't win, but winning and employing strategies that I've thought up and them succeeding is very, very rewarding to me. And it validates how much time I've put into this game.
Well, your primary objective is to get better at the game, right?
Exactly, yes.
I'm just there for a good time. You want to train and get better and learn new strategies.
Exactly.
And learn new combinations. With the goal of getting to a higher level.
Exactly. Like, I would like to play
play
at the highest elo that I can physically play at. It may not be the top tier professional. It may not even be Grandmaster. It's wanting to get better and play with people who I'm at a similar level with.
Whereas I haven't played a ranked match in my life.
You're not missing much.
That's where I'm coming from.
Exactly, yeah. We've got two different immediate goals with it. But that being said, I think it's a very fun map. There was a show match recently between two of the North American teams, and one of the North American teams drafted an all Overwatch composition. It was like Zarya, Lucio, Tracer, Diva, Genji, and they just stomped on it because they're all such mobile heroes in their kits.
Right.
The conveyor belts. Like, someone was playing Lucio, they had the speed boost on them, and they were going around the conveyor belt while running on the walls. They're moving at like 250% speed and just gliding like...
As if Tracer or Lucio needed to go
Exactly,
faster.
and they can, and it was just hilarious to watch professionals getting...
When you put it that way, that was clearly always the plan, right? Team Overwatch team?
I'm sure, yes.
At least they wanted to spread the classes out a little.
Definitely. Well, I mean, there has been games, in professional games, where just through, by virtue of heroes that are strong, that both comps had purely Overwatch teams.
Right.
Not Overwatch, sorry, Warcraft rather. Just because, obviously Warcraft is a very popular IP from Blizzard, so they're going to have more characters to draw from.
Well,
it's
that,
an RPG.
that and everyone's already kitted out, right?
Exactly, everyone's got a class, essentially. Or if it's a boss fight, they've got mechanics that can translate well.
So they're not
into...
experimenting too much with mechanics. So what's there is there, and they know it works, and they know it's balanced, and they know like that it's going to do well.
Yes.
Whereas they start fiddling with bringing in, I guess, outside people from outside that Warcraft universe, and they don't have abilities. So what they're doing is kind of experimenting with things, tinkering with things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't.
Yes. That being said, Overwatch heroes traditionally translate very well to Heroes of the Storm because
They
they've
have
got,
thus far. I agree.
They've got, like, they feel like the kits in the game. They've got, for the most part, 2 abilities, an ultimate, and whatever else, and that translates very well.
I think they did an excellent job at that.
I think so too, and I'm really happy to see Junkrat, who is coming out next.
Alright.
And from the looks of the video, he looks like he's got this alternative ult to his Riptire where he gets onto like a fucking giant Moab and rides it across the map into people. Like, he's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to Junkrat.
That might be enough to get me playing Ranged Assassin a lot.
Yes, I think so, definitely. In the pro scene of Hero of the Storm, we're coming close to the end of the second season of this year for the HGC, which is the Heroes Global Championship. And the winners of this, so there's 3 top seeds from North America, Europe, China, and Korea. 1 from Latin America, 1 from Taiwan, 1 from Southeast Asia, 1 from ANZ. All of these people come together at Blizzcon, have a finals a week before Blizzcon. They do like the group stages, and then it's the top 8 at Blizzcon, and then whoever wins that is the global champion. However, we're at the stage of the league where it's the playoffs, so the top 2 seeds have been found. Those 2 top seeds don't play in the playoffs. The bottom 2 seeds in the major regions go into a crucible. Excuse me, I just had a bit of a vommy burp.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was great. So the crucible works. I think I've explained it to you.
This is an audio podcast, right? You don't have to explain that you threw up in your mouth. No one would otherwise.
I don't, but I want
otherwise know.
I want some transparency through like
Fair enough.
my viewers.
Fair enough.
And essentially, the crucible involves relegation.
Dang.
So in the 8,
That's so tough.
it's so tough, but in a sense, it's kind of like this team has gone 1 win to 15 losses over this season, and there's people, and they get $10,000 per half a year per player per team.
What is the league structure? When you say relegation, is there like a prime? Is it? Because I'm a sports fan. Is there a primary league and then a secondary league and then
There
a
is
tertiary league and
so on and so forth? There's only 2 leagues at the moment. I foresee there could be more structure to it later if Blizzard sees the potential in it.
Well, down to a point, and then you can work on sort of local stuff, right?
Exactly. Well, it's more the local stuff is more just literally grassroots people putting together community tournaments. And for a while, that's all that Heroes of the Storm had. They had that, and that's about it. Then they moved into a regional basis where it was like every quarter you'd have 1 tournament, and that's it. And pros were like quitting the game and getting depressed because it's like, we get no money from Blizzard by these quarterly piddly things, and then maybe a BlizzCon, and then we're not getting enough practice, so we can't improve.
Right.
We're just streaming or hero leaguing, and what's the point in scrimming? So it was a really unhealthy structure. This year they brought in, as I said, the HGC, where there's qualifications at the start of the year, and the top 8 teams in Korea, Europe, China and North America, henceforth I'll refer to as the major regions, will have their top 8. And each 6 months or each season, the teams that are in the top 8 get $50,000 across their team. Most commonly use $10,000 per player. If they want to split that between them and hire a coach, that's their own volition, I guess. But
Sure.
The common understanding is each player gets $10,000 per year. So there's money on the line. Now, below that is called the Open League, which is anyone can join these cups, and there's a cup every 2 weeks, and if you win the cups, you get more points. And if you have the most points in an Open League Cup towards the end of the season, running the same distance as the HGC season, you go into the Crucible with the bottom 2 of the HGC. And the team that wins the Open League, they can choose which HGC team they want to face.
Dang, call them out.
Yeah, you can go, I'm versing you, and
we got you.
Yeah,
we got you, bitch.
Yeah, I'm going to kick you the fuck out of this. Yeah, I'm going to kick you the fuck out of this league, and that money is going to be mine. Because in the Open League, they have no funding.
And then go to that Open League and use your hate.
Yes, exactly.
Use your hate.
Exactly.
I will see you again.
Yeah, and so that's pretty cool. It keeps the bottom of the league on their toes. It's not just a case of...
That's really interesting. I've never heard of anything that works that way before.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Call them out.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly that. Like,
a bit of side-eye.
I know you're the weakest team in the league. Let's fucking go.
Do you know? Do you know you're the weakest team?
Yeah. Oh, you better know because you're 1 in 13.
Know,
peasants. Yeah, exactly. We don't even get paid for this shit, and we're acing you, motherfucker. No, it's really cool, and there's a good bit of smack talk. Like, I'm all for healthy smack talking. I think it makes good storylines within...
And I bet these bottom teams are like, we have a bit of a public profile, so we have to act like we're cool about all of this, but secretly, like, shit,
yeah, exactly.
Down these amateurs.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And so that's coming up this weekend. I believe, is the playoffs, and then you find out the 3rd seed for each major region going to BlizzCon. I think a lot of the minor regions have their only seeds already selected for BlizzCon. But that, I guess, kind of ties me into my next point about Heroes of the Storm. I guess more my personal involvement.
Before we move on,
yeah.
Now that Battle.net is hosting Destiny,
yes.
Is there a chance that we're going to get Destiny characters in HOTS?
No.
No?
It is literally just a case of Activision doesn't like Steam, and they've already got a PC distribution service.
So they're paying Blizzard to host it, essentially.
Well, they're a merger, so they're the same company, essentially.
Of course, yeah.
And it's just like, why would we create this whole new Origin or whatever shitty system that no one likes when millions of people already have Battle.net downloaded?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I wish that was the case, but I don't think it will be the case.
Fair enough.
Because it's not a Blizzard universe, it's an Activision universe. But yes, going into back to what I was saying, after the playoffs, there's tryouts, teams can switch their players and whatnot, and see who they want to have on for the next season. Now, I'm going to be actually signing one of the players for my personal esports organization that I've been working on for the last couple of months. He will be trying out for a few of these teams. I'm not at the stage where I can say who it is specifically. I'm sure I'll talk about it in a bit more depth in a couple of weeks.
You've been a busy boy, my friend.
I've been a very busy boy. He's got some offers for some big teams. I'll talk to you about that after the show, but he's got some offers from big teams that want him to play. He's moving from Australia to the United Kingdom, quit his degree that he was 3 years into to play HOTS professionally, and I just went one day, shot him a message on Twitter. I'm like, hey, I'm starting an esports org, and I fucking love your steez and your commitment to this game. If you want to do business and you don't have offers from other companies, hit a brother up. And we are. So he's going to be streaming under my company for 12 months, and I'll get into more about that once I've done an official release, and I can talk about it more and all that. But yeah, Aztec Entertainment is a go, effectively. I'm in the final stages of contracting, signing NDAs, and registering trademarks. Like, it's all actually going ahead, and it's scary, man. It's scary, but it's so exciting, and I put it into a tweet a couple of days ago. Thoughts became dream, became actions, and it's not just my historic, I really want to do this, and then that's all it is a dream. Is I went, no, fuck this, I'm doing it. And it's going to be interesting, but shit.
Well, it's that mindset that led to this lovely arrangement, right?
Exactly.
We want to make a podcast.
Yeah.
Well, let's just stop talking about it, friend.
Well, wasn't it what? Shit, that was 3-4 years ago that we were in a bar in Scotland and we were talking this shit pretty drunk at this point as you are in Scotland, and we're like, nah, we're gonna do YouTube, we're gonna do something on the internet, and then,
internet, that's where the money's at.
Yeah. And then here we are.
Yep.
But yeah, that's all I've got to really report about Heroes of the Storm now that I've been speaking about it for half an hour.
Dang. You didn't think we'd be able to go long enough.
No, I didn't.
But then you started talking about HOTS.
Yeah, I can talk about that shit underwater.
Gosh darn, I know it gets your goat.
Oh yeah.
From time to time.
In all the good ways. Like, it's like, I'm not angry at you, I'm disappointed about you because I care. and I've got a lot more of a rant that I might go on in a bit later about things that I think Blizzard can do better about this game. However, I think I might wait till after BlizzCon for doing that as like a BlizzCon wrap up.
Plus, I think we know some people we can bring in that probably have a much more solid opinion on that kind of thing, and
for more like Hearthstone and Diablo and Warcraft, at least we've got some friends that we're going to bring in. One of our good friends is actually the top shaman in all of Oceanic. Nick is the best shaman.
Wow!
In raiding. On a lot of boss fights, he gets top healing across all of Oceania. So I'm going to get him in. He's going to go...
if you're doing max or endgame raiding right now,
yes,
and you've got a badass healing shaman on your team,
it's probably good old Kunix. My friend Nick. So we'll get Nick and James and Zugi on to do a BlizzCon wrap up with us. That will probably be early next year when I'm back from America. But yeah, enough about that stuff. Trying to get onto the topic of what we said we were going to talk about, and games that we played when we were younger.
Getting to know you. Getting to know and love you.
I do. So Ed, I've just spoken for 30 minutes, so I'm going to let you take the reins.
I'm just going to yarn about us for a sec.
Yes.
We want to make the connection.
Exactly.
We want to be your friends. You can't see us. You don't know we're hideous. We want to make...
I know I'm hideous.
No.
I don't know you're hideous. You might be, but we can be friends, and that's all that matters.
So I was going to, go for a bit of a deep dive into the childhoods and sort of what made us fans of video games and what we played when we were young and how that sort of influenced what we do now, right? So, I believe you're on the Nintendo side of things.
I was a Nintendo kid.
And then you switched over to the Xbox side of things.
Correct.
See, I had the opposite path. I had Nintendo through a Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Super Nintendo. Played some Aliens.
Shit.
That was amazing because the game over screen was game over, man. Game over.
Excellent.
Which was awesome. A bunch of the old regular stuff, bit of Mario Kart.
Yep.
The regular Mario. Bit of Bubsy.
Oh shit! I forgot Bubsy was even a fucking thing.
Yeah, a whole bunch of Bubsy.
I played that as a kid too. Yeah.
And then this is very young childhood era.
Mm-hmm.
So only vague memories of back then. My first video game memory is we stayed in a motel once that had a NES in it.
Okay, cool.
And it's got to be the very first video game I ever played was Duck Hunt.
Me too.
With the laser gun.
Yeah, mine too. How weird. But that's really cool.
And that's
really
literally the first time I can remember playing a video game. Duck Hunt in a motel that I don't know if most motels had this at this point, but it had an NES system in it, and I played Duck Hunt. And
sorry to interrupt. How old would
Mario.
you have been at that point? Can you remember?
Like that, it's a vague memory in
Yeah.
a sea of just child mush.
Yes. Okay. That's similar to me. I still I don't remember the exact point when I was first playing, but I have poignant memories of being, I want to say, 3. About 3, playing similar games like Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, and I think that's all we had for a while.
It's just about all there was for a while.
Yeah, especially I think
for most people.
I think they were fairly released bundle games with the Super Nintendo. Okay, so full disclosure, Ed and I like to enjoy a cigarette when we do this podcast. And for the last, I would say, 1 minute, I forgot completely that I'd given Ed
literally 30, half a second ago.
Yeah.
The time it took you between handing me the ladder and starting to frantically look for the ladder was 5 seconds.
Yeah, literally 5 seconds. I've got a lot on my mind, and I just spent the last. You'll probably hear it in my voice moving a lot in the podcast, but I was looking for the lighter, and as I accepted I wasn't finding it, Ed just casually lights up the cigarette in front of me.
But to continue, that's I have 2 memories amongst the childhood mush.
Yeah.
You know, you're just being a kid doing shit.
Exactly.
You don't remember, you don't take that information in because you're a child and you're hit with new information every 30 seconds.
Correct.
I have Duck Hunt in the motel.
Yep.
And I have kindergarten smashing a kid's nose with a plastic bowling pin.
Is that
That's it.
That's all you remember from your childhood?
3, 6. That's it.
Excellent.
But then we got a PlayStation 1 when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the divide away from the Nintendo. That's around the same time the 64 came out.
I dare say.
Approximately.
Yeah, I want to say a couple of years through the 64's life cycle, the PS1 came out.
Yeah, sure.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I remember playing lots of Abe's Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
On that was.
The game always scared me as a kid.
Excellent. It's it's very
It's a creepy game now. Yeah.
Well, they celebrated the 20-year anniversary last week.
Really?
That game and released it for free on all platforms.
Well, shit.
Yeah.
Huh.
The remake.
Was that Neversoft?
Back then, I don't think so. But yeah. Anyway. Bunch of Abe's Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Whole shit ton of Tony Hawk.
Yup.
That's a 40-minute rant on its own.
Yeah.
A whole heap of Tony Hawk. A lot of really angry young child throwing things places when I just can't get the motherfucking T.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I want to spell skate, but I can't get the T.
Oh, yup.
Those games were amazing. And then just followed basically PlayStation life cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Until the end of the PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out all of my friends were playing the Xbox. So I got a 360.
That's right, you did.
But PlayStation 2 is regarded by many, including myself, best console of all time.
Wow. There was a lot of great games.
First of all, the library was massive.
Ridiculous.
It had a huge game library.
Mm.
For what else existed at the time, its processing was amazing.
Correct.
It's got some of the best games, I think, ever. At least, off the top of my head, 2 of my top 5 ever.
Yep. What are they?
As we talked about last week, Shadow of the Colossus, I think.
That was PlayStation 2, you're right. Wow, that was PlayStation 2.
I think it looks, as we said, looks amazing. In my opinion, I think it's the best graphically for its time.
Yeah.
I know you guys have differing opinions on that.
Yep.
But it's the first game I can remember just having that sense of wonderment.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sense that I'm sure a lot of people get when they play the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild, right?
Yes,
like
there
that
is a
sense
big
of just
wonderment.
you take a step out in the world, and the world's huge. It's all in front of you.
Yeah.
They frame it perfectly. They don't tell a story in that game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say what your objectives are.
Mm-hmm.
You just go, plop, you're in a temple. Giant omnipotent God is telling you to go and kill big things. Well,
yeah.
Guess I better go kill big things.
Exactly.
Take me there, magic sword. So you follow your magic sword and you go to a new environment every boss. These big cascading valleys and big guys marching down and knocking shit over.
That would be pretty fucking incredible,
and
actually. And then your horse dies, it's great.
Agro. Yeah. Yep. Well, no, Agro doesn't die.
What?
Agro doesn't die. Spoilers. I guess they're re-releasing, so some people will be playing it for the first time.
True.
Aggro may or may not die.
He may or may not die. You're right.
You'll certainly at one point think he dies.
True.
But yeah, there's a big plot twist ending. And then hang on to it. Yeah, it's just amazing, and you get like the feeling that they're not enemies per se either. Mm-hmm. They're just like the colossi are just these majestic creatures. There are some that are aggressive. There are some that are just kind of curious. There are some that you're clearly annoying by being there.
And
so they're just kind of
shove your sword in their jugular for all of them.
Fuck off! Like, you know, there's one where you like in this temple, and it's a big like humanoid looking thing. He's got a big beard. You might have seen it.
Is that where you like go up into the thing? It's like the two corridors beside him. And you like jump onto him, maybe.
Not quite. There's
Okay.
like so you start at like the very front of the room. There's big like he's got a big like bushy like grass beard.
Excellent.
And like he chases you down this big room, and like at the other end of the room, you hide under like a little alcove.
Okay.
And then he's like, where did he go? And like crouches down and like has a peek under the alcove, and then you jump on his beard.
That's
like,
very
he's
cute.
like, hey, get off! And like swings you around. You're on my beard, oh man.
I just styled that this morning.
So that would have to be in the top 5. I couldn't place it.
Yeah.
The second game that was in my top 5 on that console, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
That was a game-changing game.
God. That was a game-changing game. Ubi's into Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it was entirely based off that.
It's very much based. It was the first like Ubi adventure into that parkour platforming style.
And the first games in general.
The first time I've seen the sort of targeted combat system. Mm-hmm. Like when there's multiple people around you, targeting one, you can counter any of them at any time. That sort of deal that you see in Batman now, you see in Assassin's Creed a lot. You see in a whole litany of games. Again, like I like that game for different reasons. Because they tell you the story, but it's just written so so eloquently.
Yeah, it is. It is a very.
Have you played it?
Years and years ago, I'm sure I did play it. At least a part of it. For me, it was the first game that I actually saw that. First, I experienced with that sort of time manipulation. That was the big thing for me. Not even so much the parkour, but I fucked up like I do in so many other platformers.
Or like slow motion in combat.
Yeah, like okay.
Freezing enemies.
A bullet time and slow motion wasn't as
innovative.
That was used a lot, even to the point of like Enter the Matrix, which people slam, but I think is a fucking incredible game for its time. It was a great game.
Playing that thing.
It was fucking so good. I loved it. And then there was like the hacking mini game, and I was really into the Matrix, so that was a cool game for me.
I think what gets me off the most in games is well told stories.
Yeah.
In their own way.
Yeah.
Like I like Shadow because it's a well told story in that you figure out what the story is. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, they show you the girl.
Yep.
They show you she's not moving. They show you that you're sad, and then the guy says to bring her back, kill things. So you go, I'm going to kill things.
Yeah.
And then that's your game. That's what you have to think about. There's the black stuff that comes out. Like, what's that? Then you get to the end of the game, and it basically fills you in on the entire game's worth of story that you've just been doing. So this is why you're doing it. Oh no. Yeah. But and then Prince of Persia is all told through like the narration of the
direct narrative
of the protagonist, Prince, right? And his dialogue is amazing. It's so good. He's such like a sassy little prince. Like he's talking about like the love interest, and he's like, I'm gonna make her my wife. Why not? She's good looking enough. Like they have this great like I think the relationship in that game is amazing because they have this like almost schoolyard-esque like bickering because we like each other kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
and that's great. I think that game's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the way they frame the cutscenes at the start and the end of the game is very good.
I would agree with you, but it's been so long since I played it. It doesn't capture. There's no like slideshows.
Time travel.
Right.
So
okay.
the start and the end of the game are bookended by being the same event.
That's cool. Very Tarantino-esque, I guess. So they're your two, Shadow and Prince of Persia. You said there was 5 games that you think.
Oh, there are 2 that I can remember that are definitely in my top 5.
Okay, cool.
So I think there's games that come from elsewhere. Mm-hmm. Again, like I think it says a lot my top 5 probably says a lot about me as a gamer.
Yeah.
Because I like The Witcher 3 a lot. That's in the top 5.
Yeah.
I thought Season 1 of The Walking Dead.
I still haven't played it.
I'm not going to say too much about that game because I think it's something that if you like stories, I think everyone should play it. If you're into that Walking Dead universe, I'm not into that Walking Dead universe. I tried to watch the show, just didn't tickle me.
Yeah.
Right, but I think this game is awesome because that slight. It's not a super. It's like a point and clicking kind of.
Yeah,
But
I have seen the play.
Because you have that personal touch in everything that happens. You're making the decisions, you're progressing the story. You just grow that much more attached to the people involved.
Yeah.
Very, very much like, I'm sure you could talk a lot about The Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
Because you have that personal touch in everything that's happening.
Yeah.
You find yourself very invested.
I also like that style, specifically from what I have seen of The Walking Dead. Excuse me. Where it's not just quick time events, it's quick game changing decision events.
Yeah, I think pressure is one of the best mechanics you can put in the game.
Yeah.
An actual sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of games try to capture it, and they really struggle to.
What's an example of that, do you think?
Like a timed decision that has actual consequence.
Oh, I mean like game specific. Can you put your finger on any games that have tried to do it and haven't hit the mark quite so well?
Well, a lot of games will have like, for example, like Uncharted games, right?
Okay, yep.
Do you believe that might be a decent example?
I have not played.
They try and capture this sense of urgency, and you need to do things now, but you just start again.
Yeah.
Or you can stand there, and the event, like the events in the environment, might to be destroyed around you.
Yeah.
But there's no actual urgency.
Yeah.
There's no rush to do anything.
It's a feigned urgency.
Whereas if you're presented with this, like, who's gonna die?
Yeah.
Decide.
Yeah, exactly.
Pick now, or
Yeah.
you need to do this, otherwise the game gets harder for you.
That is very cool.
Like I think like hard game over is often the enemy of that. Because
In the sense, like it just
you can start again. It's like I didn't do it, I can start again.
Okay.
When there's direct consequences from your actions and your decisions that continue into
Multiple
what you
seasons
do
of the game.
what you do afterwards.
Yeah.
Be it in that very direct, like, make choices as your character style, or be it, alternate paths, or or that kind of thing. Or maybe if it's just a set event that you don't know is unavoidable.
Yeah.
Like, unavoidable, like, boss deaths, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Especially if they disguise it well, right?
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls. I think they did it in the first game. Yeah, they do it in the first Dark Souls game when you meet the first boss for the first time. You have nothing, right? And you walk into this big room. And you're like, oh fuck, he's pretty large. Then he goes bananas on you, and you realize like quite quickly that there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Like you don't know that you're going to see him again and like have a proper fight with him once you've got
Right.
gear.
Yeah.
But you see it
In
the
that
first time, you're like,
moment.
I might try.
Yeah.
Where's the door? It's time to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I think well applied urgency in games I think is a key component, I think, of a good game story wise.
Interesting. Is there a game from your childhood that made you feel that way specifically, you think? Or is it just that's your opinion of a good game nowadays?
Again, I don't mind multiplayer games, but I'm more of like a just sit down and like slog through a couple hours of a single player game kind of guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think gameplay is all good and well. Like if you can have a good combat system or that kind of thing. But I think what's gonna get me through to the end of the game is gonna be the story.
Fair enough.
I'm have you
similar, but if the gameplay feels bad, I'm not gonna do it.
have you played /heard of Spec Ops: The Line?
Probably I haven't played it though.
See, I'm not an FPS guy.
Yeah.
And it plays the same as just about any like FPS ever. It's a single player FPS, go around, shoot stuff, cover sometimes.
Yeah.
But the story in that is so compelling. that I can happily just get through to the end of the game.
Right. Okay.
So, like, old game.
Yeah.
Spoilers if you are going to go back and play a 15-year-old game or a 10-year-old game, wherever old is now, and you're like, oh, missed that one, gotta go back. Like, the general plot is that you know of is that your like little 3-man team is entering a city that has been at war, and your like old CO has basically like declared military law, like martial law, and has like taken over the city essentially.
That's cool.
With his soldiers. So you're basically going in there to like assassinate him per se.
Right.
So you go through the game and you make all these decisions, like you go up to an enemy camp and it's like you have an opportunity just to annihilate the enemy camp altogether, just blow the thing up or sneak through it and stuff like that.
That's cool.
And or like I think I'll stick with that for now as an example. At the end of the game, you find the commanding officer. He's dead. He's been dead the whole time. You're just fucking crazy.
Oh.
So you didn't bomb an enemy camp. You bombed a civilian hospital.
Oh, shit.
You haven't been killing, like, insurgents. You've been killing US military.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
So you've just got fucking nuts PTSD.
Wow.
And you've just gone scorched earth on a large Arabian city.
That's pretty heavy, dude.
Yeah, like, it's nuts. See, I don't play FPSs, but
that's a good
story.
That's
fucking compelling stuff, I think. Because your decisions that you're making, again, it comes down to, I guess, in-game decisions.
Yeah, I see.
While they don't have a direct impact on the game, they impact the way you feel at the end of the game.
Yeah, if you've just gone and killed everyone and then you're like, oh, you just committed genocide, congratulations.
And I remember, not long after it was released, the developers of it deliberately came out and said it was a commentary on the way people play those sorts of games.
Right, that's fucking very cool.
Like, you know, people enter this, like, wanton destruction and you know, blowing shit up and killing people, like, without giving it a second thought. But then, like, when the consequences of your actions quickly and dramatically change, makes you reconsider, like, what you've been doing and the way you've been playing the game the whole time. Yeah, yes, I like well-written games and good stories. I guess is what it comes down to. How about you, man? What's your story with the game? As we said, we both early Nintendo, and then we kind of split off when we hit N64 and PlayStation 1 era.
Yep. Actually, I might save this story for after the break. We've been going for nearly an hour already.
Dang,
and I'm a bit sweaty. I'm going to make myself a coffee because...
We're going to save it for after the break.
Yeah. After coffee and probably a piss.
Pissing.
It's brought to you by the PALcast. I probably have early onset lung cancer.
Welcome back to the Contemplating Mortality podcast.
Welcome
most depressing podcast around.
I don't know, you spend 20 minutes around me, you probably know that it's relatively depressing. Like, it's in par with how depressing my actual life is. So,
and how is your distant stare into the eternal ether audience?
Mine was great, personally. I don't know about yours, Mr. and or Mrs. and or Miss audience.
Let's call them the pals, because you got to do that, right?
Yeah,
you gotta,
exactly.
Come up with a kitschy nickname for your audience, and then they feel like they're part of it.
Exactly.
How are you, pals?
Welcome back, pals.
Any of you guys feeling really sad today?
It's probably justified.
We've got coffee, we've got ginger beer, we're back in action, we're raring to go. Alright, so I believe just before we went to the break, we were talking about your gaming history and what brought you the warm, cozy, cockily love of video games.
Well,
So let's start your story, I guess, at the Nintendo 64. Would you agree that's
that was where I fell in love with
that's
games.
the beacon of your childhood?
Yes. One of my close friends, Matt, who I went to kindergarten with and still friends with now, so a good 20 years of friendship. We became close friends, and I enjoyed video games, but I went over to his house and played Mario Kart 64 for the first time.
A classic.
A classic. And I knew from that point on, I needed to have a Nintendo 64. This continued into grade 1, where I think I was 5, so the next year. And my best friend of many years, Brent, also had a Nintendo 64. And I went over to his house one day, and he had a game that still stands very important to me, the name of Banjo-Kazooie. I wrote about this, you might not do this, but in Australia in year 1...
You have to insert last week's scat into...
Yes.
No, not poo, scat. into this. We had good fun reminiscing about Banjo last week.
Yes. But in Australia, in early elementary school or primary school, if you're from Australia, a lot of the time you will have like your first journal where you learn to write inside the lines, write your letters properly, write correctly, just learning to write essentially. A lot of that was about I went to Brent's house and played Banjo-Kazooie and how much I loved Banjo. Like, I loved this game. I needed a Nintendo 64 in my life. And that year for Christmas, Ethan and I were actually lucky enough to get Nintendo 64.
Thanks, Santa.
Yeah, thanks, Santa. With a Mario Kart GoldenEye. And what was the third game that came in that bundle?
I imagine it would have been a Mario of some sort.
Probably, but I don't know what else it would have been. It wasn't Super Mario 64 because we didn't have that. Matt had that.
Was World out on that game?
What?
Was Super Mario World?
No, that was Super Nintendo. Super Mario 64 is what you're thinking of, and I think that came in the next package.
That was on release though, 64 I believe.
It probably was. I can't remember what it is for the life of me. But anyways, it was mostly Mario Kart 64 and GoldenEye that I played a lot for a while. And then one day, Ethan and I were watching TV, and this ad came on, and it was a field, and like, oh, this is an interesting ad. I wonder what this is about. And then there was like a live action Mario suit came skipping along with a Donkey Kong and a Peach and a Yoshi, and we were like, what is this? And then one of them trips over, and then one of them pushes each other, and then they start beating the crap out of each other. And that was the live action ad for Super Smash Bros. 64. And we were just like, yup, that's what we're getting for Christmas. Like, yes. And the amount of hours that got clocked on that game, we would do every weekend with our friends over. We would do 99 stock fights. We would do everything. I actually, we may have mentioned this in a previous episode. If not, we were talking about it, where I actually held, as a kid, one of the world records for one of the Break the Targets things. We were reading, like, the Nintendo Power magazine over lunch one day, and they had, like, the best times and stuff like that. And I was reading the Kirby one, because Kirby was my favourite character in that game, the blue Kirby specifically. And I'm like, hey, Ethan, I beat this time on the target practice that this magazine has. He's like, no, you haven't. I'm like, no, I'll show you. So we finished our lunch. We went and did the story mode or whatever, the single player, and it got to the break the targets. And sure enough, I had beaten it by like 10 seconds or something like that. So that was my first experience with being an acoustic gamer. But what made me really enjoy gaming as a kid was, without getting like too deep and psychoanalytical, I struggled with making friends a lot as a kid. I was a bit of an awkward child, and a lot of my early friendships, and a lot of my friendships still now, not revolved, but stemmed from the love of similar games, or love of games in general. And we played that a lot with our friends. We played Super Smash Bros. A lot with our friends. We played Mario Party a lot with our friends. It's two of my close friend Brent that I talked about. He had a younger brother who I was also quite close with. So there was 4 of us. We had 4 controllers, and we had Mario Party. So when we would go over barbecues and the parents were, I don't know, probably getting drunk, I don't know, we would just play Mario Party and Smash Bros. And it was brilliant. It was great. I loved it. And then other important games to me on the Nintendo 64 were Jet Force Gemini. That was a game that Ethan got for, I think, graduating year 6 or something like that. But that was another really, really cool game. There was also like Glover, Banjo-Tooie, obvious. Glover was a great game that I don't think another game has done similar before. Like, it was a fucking really fun game.
It's very, that's a polarizing opinion.
I had a really good time with that game. I think it's a unique idea on like one of those labyrinth ball maze games and a puzzle game and just like the different types of balls that you get to do different abilities.
Depends a lot, really.
Yeah. My love of balls.
Yeah. Particularly a variety of such.
Yes. And then I don't think... No, this wasn't on this wasn't on Nintendo. And I think when we moved to one of our new places that we lived in for a lot of our life, the McCaw place, our neighbour, some way or somehow had an Xbox that he didn't want anymore, an original Xbox, and gave it to us because he knew we loved games. And that was a big turning point in my maturity as a gamer. Just going from platformers and collectathons and arcade racing sort of games to your Burnouts and your Tony Hawks and not all. Halo was a big game, but I didn't have that on Xbox One. The original Xbox rather. The game that was polarizing for me on that console was actually Unreal Championship 2, the Leandri conflicts. Now, I guess you could take from my previous understanding and love of not just the MOBA genre, but Heroes of the Storm specifically, is I'm a very twitch reflex gamer. Nothing tickles my pickle more than like when I've practiced really hard at a game and I can just snap muscle memory something and just dominate something or do something really well or make a play, and that really started with Unreal Championship, I truly believe, because it was very much like the Unreal Tournament, your fast-paced, quick-jumping arcade shooter, and it had an amazing story. Did you ever play it?
No, I can't say I did.
It was really, really cool. Like, I think there was a lot of people who were either undead or were sentenced to death or were fighting in like some blood tournament. Everyone was fighting in this tournament for their own separate reasons. Not dissimilar to, I guess, Mortal Kombat, I guess.
Yeah.
That sort of storyline, and the stories were great. The styles of characters, you had your quick, 2 sword-wielding, pistol-wielding, bounce-off-the-wall characters, or you had your slow jetpack with claws.
Would you be able to say it probably sounds like the first hero shooter?
Is what
you're describing to me.
One of the
a very, very early hero shooter.
Very, very much so. Like, I guess you could say early Quakes were, but they didn't have definitive characters with different styles. It was like you are a person, and it was more an arena shooter because you had the power weapons.
I think the hero shooter genre is defined by the fact that they're different characters and have different personalities.
I would agree.
And abilities based on that, right?
And different stories. And you had this guy who was like the protagonist, I guess you'd say, and his name was Anubis, and when he was out of combat, he was just this Egyptian cool-looking dude, and when he's in combat, he had this mechanical Anubis headset with 2 swords and pistols, and he was badass, and I loved that game. I absolutely adored that game. And you did mention Halo. That was another big game. Someone we went to school with, Jeremy, had a Xbox with Halo, and we went over to his house in the afternoons after school and would play just like Blood Gulch and all that sort of stuff. Like very classic, like one-on-ones and snipers and pistols and stuff like that. And that's where I got into more the FPS. I never played much Counter-Strike. I did occasionally when I would go to like a PC bung with friends in the end for a very primitive and early LAN. And I would enjoy gun game, but I never got the economy, and like I bought an M4 last round, and I couldn't fathom why I couldn't.
I was
buy
just
one
never
the
good
next
enough
round.
on a mouse and keyboard.
No, I was never either, because up until that point I'd only ever used controllers, and I'm still not good at FPSs on mouse and keyboard. I played Titanfall, I guess, but Titanfall was why I love Titanfall, was that similar sort of Unreal Championship. You bounce around the walls and your different classes and stuff like that.
Head and Shoulders Titanfall is probably my favourite multiplayer FPS kind of jam.
It feels so good just getting mad momentum flying across the map, just knowing it so well. I made one of our friends ill from motion sickness because I was moving so quickly and spinning around so much.
No.
And I was like, oh, that's not good. But then secretly inside, I was just like, yeah, nice. I'm not sick from this. And
I'm becoming Titanfall.
Yeah, I'm becoming the lawnmower man.
My Titan fell.
And then I guess we would often go to a place called Dexterity Gaming. Did you ever come to Dexterity?
I went to Dexterity.
Yeah, you came to Dexterity Gaming with
Mars
us.
born a mother, baby.
Yeah, exactly that. This would have been when we were like 13, 14 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty early in the life cycle of the Xbox 360, but like there was a lot of good games on the 360, but we also, if you were only doing the rent one game on the weekends from the movie store, you couldn't try all these games out. And what this place was for maybe like $10 an hour. It was like a
LAN party for hire.
LAN party for hire, but for Xboxes specifically, and you could try any of the games you wanted. They had multiple copies of Halo, so you could do 8-person Halo custom matches.
A whole bunch of Modern Warfare 2, 3,
4. Call of Duty 4, not even Modern Warfare. Call of Duty 4.
Yeah,
Knives on Shipment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There
you go.
So a lot of my friends were already playing Call of Duty 4 a lot on the Xbox 360, and I again enjoyed a lot of gaming with my friends because it was a lot of what stemmed and was the seed of our friendship. So I think for my birthday and Christmas, because I'm a December baby, I got an Xbox 360 for Christmas, and I think the Call of Duty that my friends were playing at that time was World at War, and I would have been 14 or 15 at the time.
This is before I joined the Xbox party.
This was, yeah. You joined at the tail end of World at War, I think, just before Modern Warfare 1 came out. No,
I never owned World at War, so it would have been Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
That was my entry into online chicanery.
But yeah, we played a lot of Call of Duty. One of our good friends actually was in the top team for Australia for World at War for many years and was the best player on that team. And we had our own teams, and I scrimmed occasionally. I think I was more the sub because I still wasn't very good at it. And then, followed a lot of the CODs for a while, played a lot of Halo 3 once we discovered Modern Warfare 2 was a trash game, which is going to be a very strong opinion that a lot of people you won't like. But
no, fuck it, trash game.
It was.
Trash game.
It was a trash game. Like, the story was bad. The fucking dual-wielding Model 1887s were fucking dumb. Okay, they're shotguns. Cool. They don't shoot fucking 40 meters. They're from 1887. The noob tubes, the everything, the nukes. Like, if you were like 10 and it was your first game that you ever really played, I could appreciate that you would enjoy it. But objectively, from someone who had gamed for 10 years before that, it wasn't a good game. It wasn't even a good shooter. It wasn't even a good Call of Duty game. Objectively, in sales, you could say, oh, but it's the best-selling Call of Duty ever.
That's what you sound like.
Yeah, that's you.
I'd like it to make it known that everyone's opinions matter and you're allowed to have your opinions, but in this case, you're wrong. It's a trash game.
It was not an enjoyable game. I played it. It made me raged. Which is not uncommon. I was a very ragey FPS player, which is why I don't play them very much anymore. And then I think we played a lot of Black Ops 1, and then
I disembarked the COD train at this stage.
Yeah, you were there for a very short time. And then I think we were almost graduating by the time Black Ops 1 came out.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah, because I had it at our equivalent of spring break or schoolies for us. I had my Xbox there, And then Xbox 360. What did I do after that?
Started doing everything.
Well, no, then my eyes went to shit shortly after that.
Yes.
So I couldn't game.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah, that's another story, but TLDR, and you'll be like, what? You can't just end a story like that. But from 19 till 22 and a half, 23, context I'm 24 now, I was blind, effectively, in varying degrees one way or another. And I'm not going to go into the details, that'll be a podcast for another day. But I couldn't game very much. I very rarely played WoW, where I was effectively guided through dungeons with my friends and stuff like that. I just watched a lot of anime at that point in my life, because it was just like literally hundreds of episodes to digest at a time.
Plus, the games in these days, with their greys and browns, aren't really conducive to picking out fine objects.
Yes, exactly. Like, so that I stopped gaming for the most part. There was a point in that process where I played DMC, the remake of Devil May Cry, and I think I had one partially functioning eye and then one shit eye. So I was effectively gaming on, for all intents and purposes, a quarter of an eye in vision standards. And I completely clocked that game. Like, I'm talking, I got every single collectible. I learnt how many minions, how many enemies were in each phase of each level, and I learnt their all internal timers, so I knew instinctually how long they all had in between attacks and the sound cues, and I even beat the mode that was you die from one hit from anything. Not just...
I remember.
Yeah, I went...
You played that game a lot.
I went full Korean on that game, and recently I went back onto like speedrunning.com or whatever, and then I think I have the world record for one bracket in that. I didn't submit it, but times and looking at it at that time, I had the world record for DMC. And then as my vision returned, a lot of my friends had gotten into the technical alpha for Heroes of the Storm, and then I got in, and I've played that daily for 2.5 years. Dabbling into Overwatch when it came out. I played a lot of Overwatch for a while, and then I realised I was bad at shooters. And then, yeah, it's kind of here where I am. For a couple of years there, I was working at EB... Not games. I was not working...
Nondescript game store.
At not electronic boutiques, but another gaming...
Was it JV?
Was it
GameSpot?
Was it Kmart? Was it another one of those companies that are owned by the same company? Anyways.
Definitely wasn't the one we almost mentioned.
Yeah. I worked in video games retail, so there was a lot of games that I was playing not for my own... Not that I didn't enjoy them, but more I was doing it for research because it was a hot game that was going to sell better and I wanted to be able to sell it better. So that was like Shadow of Mordor, that was Forza. I played a lot, that's right, I played a lot of GTA 5. I played a lot of GTA 5 on PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and then PC. And then when my character could not be transferred from PC back onto Xbox when my brother was playing and when Ethan was playing, I think I stopped because I'm like, I'm not grinding all that shit again. That was the tipping point.
That's a common bottleneck, I think, for a lot of players.
Yeah,
a lot of them drop out when they want to try things cross-platform and it's not quite compatible.
Exactly. Yeah. So I had a great time with GTA. I loved it. Ed and I, actually, our original internet plans were to do a machinima with GTA, but with a lot of the modding and that sort of software getting taken down, and you can't do machinimas with GTA anymore, bar their shitty Rockstar editor, which is trashed here. That has fallen to the wayside. Maybe picked up later, who knows, but we also used to play a lot of Tekken.
So much Tekken.
Like, so much Tekken, like...
Tekken Tag Tournament.
Yeah, Tekken Tag Tournament 2, we played that, I would say daily for a couple of months.
Oh, a real long time.
A really long time and a lot of it. And we weren't amazing at it, but we weren't bad at it by any means. Andy was still much better than us, I feel, because he could juggle very well.
That got me thinking about fighting games a lot more.
Definitely, yeah, true. And then, yeah.
So, we dipped a toe into my top 5 a bit earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to have a little peek at yours. Could you tell us maybe a couple?
From which generation, or just all
Just
time?
all time.
Here, this isn't in any order. Heroes of the Storm. I've got no more gameplay than that game on any other game.
Sure.
It's the most,
I think that's a good indication.
the game I played most. It may make me salty at times, but otherwise I love it. Like, I get giddy and nerd chills when they do new cinematic releases, and I love the skins, and I don't mind paying for them because they're cool designs. Like, there's a diva with a Deathwing skin.
That's pretty cool.
And, like, the front of her mech is Deathwing's face, and it's
Alright.
got lava on it and stuff. And then there's Dehaka, like a Diva Dehaka, so it's like a bubblegum pink Dehaka. So I love all that shit. And then there's also, without getting into too much more of a hot rant, there's like these Twisted Fate skins. So I don't know if you know too much about the storyline, but basically Malfurion and Illidan were twins, and Illidan did something that was wrong and become the bad twin and stuff like that.
Right.
But there is a skin in Heroes of the Storm, Betray Malfurion, where the fates were twisted. So Malf's the bad guy, and he's got the demon stuff, and then Illidan's got this long green beard, and he's still very
cool.
Night Elfly. And then there's a lot of stuff like that. Heroes of the Storm is one of them. Titanfall, I would say, is probably one of them.
That's a big call.
I guess for me, if the gameplay is engaging enough that I can play it for a long time, it's a great game by me, because you said story is important and gameplay is not falls by the wayside, but if the story is good, it's good.
I can forgive questionable gameplay for a good story.
Yes, whereas I'm kind of the polar opposite. I can forgive a bad story if the gameplay is bad, but if I do not enjoy fundamentally pushing the buttons and seeing what I see on screen, then I won't enjoy it. A third one would probably be Dark Souls 1.
Yeah, I agree. Excellent game.
I think that was a masterpiece.
It made a whole bunch of other gaming companies want to make Dark Souls.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty good indication of
Yes.
how revolutionary and how innovative your game is.
Yes.
Is when everyone tries to copy you afterwards.
Yep. I think a sleeper one in there that a lot of people wouldn't expect because I haven't talked about it that much. We talked about it a little last week, but Ninja Gaiden on Xbox Original, that got me in love with hack and slash. It was a beautiful game for its generation. Team Ninja are amazing. It was really difficult, like Souls-esque difficult, and it took me probably 6 months to beat the first level, and then when I did, and I'm like, wait, this is the game?
Wow.
It was a very, very fun game.
Wow.
And fifth... maybe Titanfall out. I loved it, but that would be like 6 to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Skyrim is in there.
Yep. Yeah.
Not only because of the sheer hours I logged on it, not only from the role-playing purpose of simply enjoying it, but that's where James and I became really close friends after school. We would just play a lot of Skyrim together.
Right.
And I think my favourite game of all time, the game that will always bring me bliss, and just from the theme song that can make me happy, is Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah.
It just fills me with childhood wonder every time I turn it on, and I feel like a kid again, and it's the strongest emotion I can have with a game to bring me back to that childhood innocence and just sheer happiness.
How do you feel about Rare's other efforts around that time? For example, Donkey Kong 64 and Conquer and
I liked
Banjo-Tooie and whatnot.
Banjo-Tooie was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I enjoyed it, and it developed a lot of cool ideas.
Because we saw how bad it could get.
We saw how bad
they showed us how bad it could get.
Yeah. Conker's Bad Fur Day I liked, but I was never allowed to play because it had too much swearing in it. As a kid, at least. And I never got around to playing it. And I enjoyed Donkey Kong 64, actually. I think it was really cool. And while I could only play it for a limited amount of time that I had the Nintendo 64. I think I played it retroactively, like when we had the Xbox, we finally got an expansion pack and 64. Don't get me wrong, in that top 5 I would say close behind it was Ocarina of Time, but that's a rant for Ethan in another day, because I think he mentioned it in the first episode, but he has a Triforce tattooed on his chest. So it's not really my game to talk about. If you want the passionate speech about why Ocarina of Time is a masterpiece, Ethan's your guy for that. And I will ask him that at some point.
We'll get his top 5 at some stage soon.
Yeah, so Banjo-Kazooie, Heroes of the Storm, Skyrim, Ninja Gaiden, no, it has to be Devil May Cry. I love Ninja Gaiden, but Devil May Cry, definitely. And
you went next level on that game, man.
What was my last game? Skyrim, Banjo-Kazooie, Heroes of the Storm, Devil May Cry.
Titanfall.
I took Titanfall out.
Maybe you didn't put something else.
I didn't put something else in. Let me think about this, because there's a lot of great games that I love, but games that I have passionate memories of.
And we've played a lot of games. We've played a whole bunch of games. See, it's hard to delve back into that memory, because it's hard, like, you like different things at different times, and the way you feel about things when you're younger isn't necessarily the way you feel about them now. Like, I've loved games that I'd considered to be, like, quote unquote in my top 5, but if I went back and played them now,
they would not be it. Yeah, it's the emotion they made you feel at the time as well. I've got that 4. I can't think of the 5th, or if I mentioned it and you're probably screaming at me in the chat, it's like, it is obviously this, you fucking brain dead piece of shit. Like, you said that 30 seconds ago. I apologise, I forget.
Yep. I mean, like, I've been, like, moved by, like, to tears by games before.
That's a good question. What games have made you cry?
Walking Dead Season 1. Yep.
The Last of Us for me. First 10 minutes, I cried a lot. And it was like me, Pat, my roommate at the time, Ethan, and his friend Jesse at the time, all sitting in there. And we were all just quiet. And all of our eyes were a little watery.
No one really knew how to feel or what to say.
Yeah, and it was just silent in the room. Oh, and I'm so excited for Last of Us 2. Other games that have made you cry, I'm trying to think of some more for myself. There hasn't been many.
I just wanted to elaborate a little bit more on that Walking Dead. The last 20 minutes of that game, it just fucking sucks.
Yeah?
It's the worst. I feel like kid stuff gets me.
Right, okay.
Kid stuff gets me a bit.
Yeah.
And like seeing shit things happen to kids.
Or like other people have that sort of feeling and emotion with shit things happening to dogs in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or cats in Divinity.
Yeah, for example.
I mean, when I was a kid, I fucking cried over Pokemon Silver because I accidentally released my Togetic. Or whatever, the evolution of Togepi. Because actually fucking Pokemon Silver is on my 5. Because it was when Ethan and I were with our family living in Canada for 7 months. We got it for Christmas, and then we drove around all of British Columbia in a motorhome. And he had gold and I had silver, and it was like we were going on an adventure in game and in real life. And it's just like,
I feel like anyone that's like played a computer game has just had that like 6 months where they're a Pokemon fiend.
Oh, definitely. And if you're not,
at least 6 months.
Yeah. Like, Zuki and I were playing Pokken Tournament. Oh, I picked up Pokken Tournament, by the way. And literally after playing it for like half an hour, I was like, oi, do you want to go download emulators and play like Ruby and Sapphire? I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, man. Emerald, dude.
Emerald?
Emerald's where it's at.
Yeah?
Literally, like, Emerald's the game that everyone played at school. Like, instead of studying.
Right, of course,
You got the emulator on the laptop.
I was playing N++ mostly at school.
Oh, really?
It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Did you ever... I showed you N++ on the PlayStation ones.
Well, it's, if I remember correctly, it's based sort of, or made by the people that originally started it as a Flash game.
Yeah, it was a Flash game.
Yeah.
I was
because
we used to play it on
all about that congregate, all about that congregate life for a while.
Oh, congregate! That was a fun 6 months of our life. That's what I did for the first year out of school. I played a fuck ton of congregate. So if you have not heard of it,
You have to pay for those games now.
Really?
No, I mean like
all
the good games that used to be on Congregate are now for sale for $5 on Steam.
Really? So Congregate was this online community and website where there was a lot of Flash games. Most notably, I'd say like Bloons Tower Defense. I think was one of their big hallmark games.
Like things like Sunny, as well.
Heard of it.
It's a like turn-based RPG.
Oh, I until Divinity, I've hated. I guess, and Mario plus Rabbids, I've hated turn-based.
Oh wow.
But yeah. Anyways, it was an online community, and getting like X thousand points on this game or completing X level would get you trophies. Not dissimilar to like achievement points or something like that. But it was just for Flash games online, and you could see how many points your friends would have and stuff like that. So Ed, myself, and Fraser as well.
I believe, yeah.
Fraser did as well, yeah. Used to play that quite a bit, and it was good fun. Good fun. Like, and that's an offshoot of, I guess, in school when we were supposed to be doing assignments on the computer in the library in the afternoons. We would have our USB sticks with 10 Flash games on them or whatever, and when the librarian would walk into the back room, everyone would just shut their games off.
Shit.
It's the fuzz! And then we found out that they could like look at what we were doing on the computers, and then
At least they told us.
yeah, I don't reckon they could have. That's some fucking weird ass shit if they're spying on our... I remember this one time, it was really weird, like, it was a full library on like a Friday afternoon, and there was this kid who'd like, because you know we used to have like internet proxies and stuff like that.
Oh, sure, yeah.
This kid was just like fucking looking up Simpsons porn on Google.
Oh, good for him.
And he was like enjoying it a little bit too much, but I don't think he was old enough to realize how he was enjoying it. And everyone else was like super uncomfortable, and he just wouldn't stop. And yeah, I don't know why. I just remembered that memory just then, and it was weird. I'm sorry for if it's made the conversation weird.
So crying in video games, huh?
Yeah.
And crying in real life, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Crying inside because of how fucked up the world is, huh?
Yeah. I think this kid was in like grade 7 or something.
Can you remember any other like emotional responses like that you've had? So like that visceral sort of
visceral was
emotional response to...
Visceral was Devil May Cry when I was on the one-shot difficulty, and you probably remember them, but they're like the big front arm-plated guys with the 2 spiky fists and stuff like that, and they would trundle at you, the tall fat dudes.
I'm sure I could visualize that.
Yeah. Anyways, you could only get them on the back of them because they had no armor there. And in Devil May Cry or DMC, the remaster. What's the word?
Remake, HD,
remake, yeah,
HD
remake.
Re-release.
Well, they have done an HD re-release, but on the remake, when you would hold, because you're a Nephilim in that, so holding L trigger would channel your angel side, and you do like scythes and light abilities, and your right one would be heavy attacks and demon based, and the one I used was Arbiter, this big 2-handed axe. And there was a talent that you could get where if you dodged perfectly, it would give you a damage boost. So I would do the devil dodge, dodge around him, and there was a point where I'd like been on this one part of this one level for I'd say like 3.5, 4 hours, and I could not beat it. And I dodged him perfectly, and on the last hits, I do like the big 2-handed hit with the Arbiter, and in that game it would be like super fantastic, sadistic.
Oh my god!
And
okay, I have a story. Finish up.
And as I went hit him and killed him, and it just went sadistic. I just got like it was just like this fucking coursing adrenaline through it, and I literally just went yes. Like, oh, it was the most adrenaline I've ever felt from a video game.
I felt that exact same way the first time I played Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
The fighting game. I had a little bit of phase for fighting games, so I was trying to get good at one in particular. I had a solid crack at Street Fighter V for a while. Mm-hmm. Like, many would argue it's probably a bad entry point into...
It's a hard entry point.
Well, a lot of people think that it's less competitive. There's a lot more... people get away with a lot more cheese strategies a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I think the... 4 is probably a more popular entry point if you want to get good fundamentals and get good competitively.
See, I think 4 was dumb because it had that weird ink damage and shit like that.
Either way, I think I'm
whatever. Yeah.
But without knowing literally anything about it, because I'm still trying to find my way in this fighting game world. Mm-hmm. And I see that Killer Instinct is free on the Windows Store.
Oh, excellent.
So you can get like a basic version. They give you 2
yeah.
characters or whatever. There's you can do like the world conquering mode or whatever it's called now.
Mm-hmm.
But so I played it for the first time and then got the sort of your finishing maneuver.
Oh yeah.
Where you start off like a big combo and then you can chain it.
Onto like a trillion hit combo.
And
essentially.
the first time I got a 50 like plus combo.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Because the announcer's like super combo, and then like great combo, and at the end when you hit 50, he just screams out ultra combo. I literally threw my controller away and just 2 fists up in the air, grinning to myself in my room at what just happened. It was amazing. Yeah. I had no idea it was coming. It comes out automatically when you hit like a specific command when they're on high health. You'll just go straight into the combo. But like obviously people that are good at the game and want to BM other people can like chain it to just fuck off long combos. Yeah. But the first time that happened and the announcer guy is just like screaming at me, it's like on the episode of The Simpsons where like Milhouse does like plays Bone Storm.
Oh yeah.
Real ass. Like it's like whoa, that was me playing Killer Instinct. Yeah, woo. Just going bananas for it.
I'm trying to think of other visceral experiences. Not so much from games that I've played, but when my first experience...
Just from life?
I guess from life, but it was video game related. Was the first time I was at a live esports event. The mid-season Brawl for Heroes of the Storm at DreamHack Summer this year. Just the energy of being in a crowd, supporting people that is like the home crowd, and it was incredible. Just like the roar of the crowd whenever teams would get picks, and watching the replays back of the VODs of the broadcast, and you can just hear cheers through the fucking caster's desk and stuff like that. Like it was something else. It was a really, really cool experience.
I'm still baffled by how big esports is now.
Me too.
It's insane.
Me too.
I guess the fans have always been there. Just given an opportunity all to go to one place.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you had your shoutcasters online where people would just, like, have the broadcasters audio replay like a radio broadcast, and then they would just watch the game at the same time through different browsers. But I guess with, like, your Twitch, and now that there's more money in it, and then there's studios for, like, production value and lights and movers and dolly cams, and it's incredible. Like,
we love video games.
We love video games a lot, but you know what? We love you guys more.
That's a kiss blown through the microphone from me to you.
Get some ASMR up in this bitch.
Alright, I think on that note, we've molested the listeners' ears.
Jesus fucking Christ. Can you find a different adjective?
Molested the listeners' ears.
We've sodomized the ears. There's like less harsh implications with that.
We've made love.
We've made sweet baby making love with you. I've put my love junk all up inside your ear trunk, and I've got nothing more else to say.
That's it. I think we've had fun, just the two of us having a good chat, reminiscing about the good old days.
Yeah. And then if you play those games later, they're not actually that good, and then you're like, well, there's that existential dread I was thinking about in the break while I was making coffee.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm not going to be young forever.
Yeah, exactly.
The things I like suck now.
Oh, they've probably always sucked. We were just young and too stupid to realise otherwise.
Yep.
But yeah, now that we've just made you feel all good inside, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And we'll catch you next time on the Neon Bear Traps PALcast.
And you know what? Go back and play some games you liked.
Oh, yeah. Crack out the old 64, and after blowing in that cartridge 15 times and finally getting it started, just experience how shit that control stick was. It just feel the rage of trying to do a down tilt in Super Smash Bros. And just not being able to do it because you've ground away from that, like, spinning mini game on Mario Party.
And there's no springs. Or go on Steam. and buy Prince of Persia: Sands of Time for $5,
Yeah.
and then just get befuddled when your computer crashes every now and again,
Does that actually happen?
and then try and figure out your gamepad and why the controls aren't the way they used to be, and how your $1,500 PC just doesn't run the same as a PS2 did. No, we've come a long way. We really have.
Oh, I would say at least we don't have polyhedrons and polygons and stuff like that. But then you see Mass Effect Andromeda, so
Yes, we don't also have people's heads phasing out
mm,
and talking to floating eyeballs.
yeah. At least when back in the day when we had weird heads that didn't suit, it was because we put fucking big head mode on and we wanted it and we giggled at it.
Yeah.
It was great. That's what I miss. Sorry, just closing thought. I miss like opening up a Nintendo Power and finding like cosmetic cheat codes or cheat codes about games and just cheat codes in general.
I used to want to make games fun.
Yeah. Now
You know, like GTA, right?
Yeah.
They've got all this stuff. They're trying to sell you all sorts of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what was fun about GTA? Cheating, getting all the bullshit, and flying around and going on a rampage.
And going on a
they want to take that fun out. They want to get rid of the mods. They want to get rid of the cheats.
Hear that, Rockstar? We're coming for you.
Okay. Yep, the two of us.
Two of us gonna take you by storm. We're gonna make it our own company. It's gonna be called Cockstar, and then it might also be a porn studios. I'm not sure. Anyways, have a lovely evening, guys, and we'll catch you next week.
Goodbye.